Nobody asked me if they should print more beta boxes or not, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. I hope your family is not as sick as mine's been all weekend. But today we're going to talk about beta booster boxes, the 3Bs, beta booster boxes. We're going to talk about sorcery and what is going on in the world of beta. I'm going to give you guys my opinions on what I think as a store owner I would like to see happen from sorcery's perspective. Right now, where it stands, boxes are sitting just under the $200 threshold on TCG Player and on eBay. You're seeing cases at like $1,100. This is up significantly. It's up about 25% off of MSRP, and it is up from where the market kind of accepted things. We had the initial wave come out. We saw boxes floating around the 135s. Everybody thought, oh my gosh, you should have gotten them at 135 and waited from MSRP, and then boxes got scooped up, and we saw this happening. We kind of anticipated that this would happen on the initial release because what we've seen in sorcery is anytime you open a booster box of sorcery, it leaves you wanting more, and that is one of the things that people who haven't opened sorcery just don't get. You open a booster box and it leaves you wanting more. It leaves you wanting to say, oh, I'll do another box. That's why I've opened 100 boxes of alpha on the channel, because every time you open it, you look at your collection, you're like, man, I didn't hit that card, or I'm still waiting on these cards, and I'd rather open it because it's fun. And so it just causes you to want more. And so we saw people get their initial allocations of what they wanted, or they got their pre-orders in from Game Grove or from wherever, and they then said, hey, I want more boxes, and that has caused the market to go up. But what we have not seen is any sense of a restock from the distribution side, from our distributors as stores. Now, we had huge kind of initial waves of product, especially if you were an innkeeper, and even non-innkeepers that get quite a bit of product from like PhD. And then we saw a very staggered kind of a couple boxes here and there for a week or so. And now, according to Distro, they are completely out of beta. It does not exist anymore, and they do not know whether they are getting more, or if they are getting more, or how much they are getting if they do get more. There is zero information from the distribution side in terms of, if you are a store, what you are hearing from reps. We're going to talk about that too. The only information we have right now is the open market price, as well as Rudy has come out and said at Alpha Investments that he will have 2,000 kits, and his previous kit was 3 boxes. So the assumption here is that there's about 6,000 boxes coming to market via Rudy from Alpha Investments. And there's no other information in terms of a increased supply of booster boxes coming to the market other than that. So with that kind of framework, I want to get into this topic of, should Eric Curiosa release more boxes? Should we see more boxes come through the distribution pipeline, or should they just say, hey, look, beta is beta. Maybe eventually we'll have another wave of the original product or something like that. And I want to get into it because I want to talk about it. So first and foremost, I think there's a middle ground between release more boxes and don't release more boxes. And I think it's important that everybody understands both sides of the spectrum. So first I want to get into the why not release more boxes. What is the advantages to not releasing more booster boxes? And first off, I want to say that right now, as it stands, I don't feel like this game is out of hand in terms of getting into it and getting involved and building a deck. You're seeing, Magic the Gathering, most people come to my store, they end up buying a set box or a collector box if they're going to engage in the product by buying boxes. And that goes from $130 to $225. A collector box is $225 kind of on release. You can get an Ixalan collector box at $225, or you can get a draft or a set box at $125 in my store. So seeing boxes at $190 to $200 of Sorcery Beta, it does not, to me, prevent somebody from getting involved in the game and picking up a box. Now at my store, we still have a couple boxes at MSRP, not online, but just in the shelf. And $150 has not stopped anybody from being like, yeah, I want to experience that. I've seen it on Louie's channel, whatever. I want to open up the box and enjoy it. That price point seems fine. And I don't think that $200 really prevents that from happening. I think at a price point where you're seeing these other card games, $200 is just not going to stop somebody from getting involved. I know we all live in this world where draft booster boxes should cost $100, but that's not the reality of where we are anymore. Inflation has caused everything to go up in price. So under $200 I think is a pretty healthy price point for these boxes to be at. And the market is also showing that the value of the singles is within that. And this is the big kind of thing for me, is if you're gonna spend the money on a box, you want to try to get most of your money back. And right now, $200 is, you probably make money. On average, if you look at my EV video, you probably make money by selling singles. And so then I also want to get into this, that most people engage in this hobby by buying decks and buying the singles that they need. They get some cards from a friend, you pick up your deck, and you need one or two of the cards on the secondary market. And Sorcery has set up their boxes. This is, again, we're talking about why not put more out. We will talk about why put more out. But Sorcery has set up their boosters, their gameplay, to not require the unique cards. So like your Philosopher's Stone that's sitting at like $150 right now. It's not a required card to play. It's not outside of your deck. It is there's a variance to your deck to it, so you're not necessarily going to get to play with it in every single game because you might not draw it. And it affects the game. It's powerful, but it's just not required. You could actually build a Sorcery deck right now for like $50 to $80. You could build a good Sorcery deck without cores for $50 to $80, and you would be able to play in any event. And that's a great entry ramp. So I don't think that just because their boxes are $200, it means that the game is too inaccessible to get involved in. And then the reason that you don't tank the market and print more boxes is because you want the game to be collectible. Sorcery has come out and said that their goal is for this game to be collectible. They want to have value baked in, so collectors and speculators and investors aren't afraid of it. And listen, if that's not your jam, the door's right there. If you don't like collectible card games where your cards are going to hold value, this is probably not the game for you. Go play a legacy card game or a living card game where you buy a booster or buy a box and every card you need is in there. There are other games to play. That is not what Eric's Curiosa has said Sorcery is. They want the game to be collectible, and they want it to be, something that they're not going to see the value deteriorate in. And I think that is healthy. We've seen other stuff on the market oversaturate the print run, and it just doesn't work as a collectible card game when the value of the box just isn't there. So that's the why not to put out more boxes. But now I want to get into the why I think they could put out more boxes. And I'm going to tell you which I think they should do. Not that anybody cares. Again, nobody asked me, but not that anybody cares. It's content, right? That's what we're here for. So the reason that you put more boxes out, in my opinion, is not that the price of the box is too expensive. It's not that the singles are too expensive. Because again, we just talked about it. I don't think that that's where things are. I don't think we're at the point where things are too expensive for the consumer based on other market trends. The reason I think you need to put out more boxes is so that stores can continue to have boxes on shelf. And we talked about this with Sorcery, that they wanted, and we wanted, the community wanted, to be able to go into an LGS and see some boxes on the store's shelf. And how important that is for the growth of the game, to be able to see, perfect example is my YouTube channel and my store, to be able to see Louis open up boxes or do a gameplay footage, and to walk into the store and see it on the shelf and say, hey, you know what? I am going to spend that money on the box today, and I am going to open up and I'm going to experience it for myself, not just watching it online. This world we live in is so wild because you make your decision as a consumer here on the camera. And then you spend your money impulsively, whether maybe it's online, but a lot of people then spend their money impulsively at a store when they can actually hold the box and can physically see it and feel it. And that person is important because that person is what gives the game collectible value in the future. Right now, Sorcery is still in a highly speculative environment where there's not evidence of a large player base that demands the cards and whatever, like you have with Magic the Gathering. But it's speculative. But once you create customers and community and people playing and players and kind of the environment, that's what gives the collectible it's gas to the collectible nature. And so you have to have boxes on the shelves of stores. Now, that gets really, hard. Like, it just gets hard, but it's an expectation from store owners that we will be able to restock something like this at some point. I'm not saying, if we got 400 boxes of Beta 1, right? I'm not saying that we should get another 400 boxes, but I think there is some percentages that as a store owner, I would like to be able to do some sealed events. I'd like to be able to have the product in hand. We kept some back. I kept about 15 to 20% of my boxes back from the online so that I could have boxes in store for this, purpose. But not every store is in that, that opportunity. Not every store has the capital to sit back on 20% of their profit and sell boxes in store. And so you gotta, I think, have some percentage of a restock based on previous orders. And then the other side of this is like a new store that sees a store online buying boxes and succeeding. I think you also want them to be able to buy the boxes and succeed with the product, again, so that the community can grow. And a lot of people are gonna say, okay, but what about Arthurian Legends? Well, I think for Sorcery, one of the biggest, maybe not issues, but facts of Sorcery is that you're going to need cards from Alpha Beta in order to play Arthurian Legends. At least that's my understanding. So I would like to see, I guess we'll sum this up, my opinions on where they should stand on should they print more Beta. I would like to see a very, very small restock from the perspective of distribution. I would like to see 10 to 15% of what we saw with the initial wave come to market so that stores can get a 10 to 15% restock. And I personally think that should be kind of based on the previous spend, that if you ordered boxes, you should be able to receive 10 to 15%. This is like kind of what Lorcana is doing in a little bit. Lorcana is pre-allocating, Ravensburg is pre-allocating, so the distro is not even deciding who gets boxes or how many boxes they get, but Ravensburg themselves is deciding, hey, these stores get this many boxes based on whatever metric they are looking at. So I would like to see that happen in a very, very limited space where we see 10 to 15% more product come to the market so that they can continue to navigate this idea of collectability, but also having product available. So that's my opinion. I'm very curious on your opinion in the comment section below. It is kind of wild. Obviously, we have not done any box openings. I'm basically out of product now at the store. So we'll see about that. We'll see what happens over the next week or two. If we don't get any more info, I may just start picking up some boxes on the secondary market and we'll do some box openings on the channel. But we'll have some fun. So anyway, let me know what you all think in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, join the channel. We're gonna have some fun over the next year. I'm telling you right now, 2024 gonna be the best year for Kitchen Table TCG that you guys have ever seen. I cannot wait to share some of the ideas behind the scenes with you. Have yourselves a great day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.